Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Spring 2024 OEM Industry Forum. We're happy to have you here. We'll get started in a few minutes. We just want to give everybody some time to check in. We will start off with some housekeeping too. So we'll just give it a few more minutes. Thank you. Hello again, everyone. Before we get started, we're going to do some housekeeping. As many of you know, GoToWebinar has a new look. We've got some slides here to show you. To submit your questions, down here in the bottom right of your screen is the questions pane. So we'll be taking questions. You can type them in at any time, but we're going to try to get to them through the presentations if we can. Otherwise, at the very end. So also on the next slide, it shows if you're on your phone or on a tablet, you'll see a questions icon at the top. So you can use that too if you want to submit questions. If we don't get to your questions, we'll be sure to follow up with you, but just so you know, you can submit them at any time. There's also the chat window that we'll be posting some links throughout. So you'll want to keep an eye on that as we get through. Also, if you have any support issues or any technology issues, you've all received an email that looks similar to this that's on the screen. It's how to join the webinar. And there's a link there that says check system requirements. That's the first place to start, but I think a lot of us use this, quite often. So hopefully you won't have any issues. You can always send us a message in the questions too, and we'll see if we can help you. But for the most part, that is all the housekeeping that we have for GoTo. So hopefully you'll be able to submit some questions as we go. And with that, I will hand it over to Catherine to get started here. We'll just give it a couple of seconds because we want to make sure that, we're not starting until 1:30. So I want to make sure everybody has a chance to log in. We've got quite a few attendees that are already here. So hopefully it won't be too much longer.
Okay, well, thank you, Jennifer, and good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to thank you for attending. This is our second industry forum on tax day 2024. So for those that haven't done their taxes yet, I do apologize. But as we promised at our first industry forum, This forum will be to focus on the district needs. So the agenda includes a brief update from OEM. It'll be very brief. Then we'll jump into the district presentations. There'll be a short break, I believe, after District 6, after District 3, I apologize, so that everybody can have a little comfort break. Then after we finish all the districts, we'll hear from the industries through ACEC. Then we'll wrap with a few more OEM updates. And then questions and answers, closings, and the announcements about our next industry forum, which will probably be about 6 months from now. So before we begin, we're going to warm up with a couple poll questions. Oops.
We're loading them in right now, Catherine. We've got 2 for you.
Yes, thank you. I think we're getting close. Okay, so the first poll question: is your firm generally or a subconsultant? We'll give everybody a minute or so to answer those. I don't know.
We had to reload.
To...
Yeah, we had to reload it.
Okay.
Sorry, Catherine. So if everybody could answer this one,
Not a problem.
thank you.
Okay, so now if you can include your answers, that'd be awesome. Just prime or subconsultant. And I guess if you're a government, you can just leave it blank. So we're gonna, looks like we're gonna give it one more try.
It looks like we're getting a lot of answers into the chat pane on that one. Let me go ahead and move on to the next one.
Yeah, that works. That's why a warm up is a good thing. See if poll number 2 works.
There we go. I finally see it pop up. We got a lot of people on here, and it is loading GoToWebinar unlike it is typically loaded.
Okay, that happens. So the next one was: does your firm have this following subject matter experts in the house? So do you have natural resources, noise subject matter experts, contamination, cultural or sociocultural resources, public involvement? We're just trying to figure out the gamut of people that might be on the call today.
And we are at 40% voted, so we've got to give you a couple more seconds to get through here.
Perfect.
Like I said, this is one of the biggest webinars I've been a part of, so
very good. So things are going slowly. So it looks like we have a lot of you guys have a lot of public involvement in natural resources. That's good. Contamination's a little bit smaller. I guess that must be more of a specialty type subject matter. And we got about 9% cultural and 12% noise. And So I think we could probably close that out now. And we did come up with 2 more percentage points for contamination, and natural and public are still neck and neck at 36 and 37. So Jennifer, am I supposed to end the poll or do you end the poll?
Nope. We end it. It's ended.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
It's gone.
So I'm not
There's
seeing the
we're
next slide.
the next area is the 2023 recap from last year.
Okay.
If
Well, I
you
can
can see
just
this,
give it as we're waiting for the slide.
yeah, it's
So
up. We can see it. I don't know if it's just you or not, Catherine.
okay, nope, I can't see it, but now I see myself. But I'll just give a quick wrap up of the first industry forum. So I'm glad to report that our last forum, like this one, had over 450 attendees. And so far we have about 500 people registered. So we definitely see a need to continue coordination between DOT and the industry. Also, as a little recap, I just kind of wanted to go through the results of a few of the poll questions that we did last time. Um, So most of the attendees, about 70%, were from large firms, greater than 200 employees. And then it's about even between small firms and medium firms. That small ones were from 1 to 150 employees, and medium firms were 51 to 200 employees. The next one was very telling to us. It's like, do you work for multiple districts, including central office and turnpike? And we saw that 85% of you guys only work for one district. 15% work for multiple. So that us made it kind of clear that these forums were a good idea to get you guys a little tuned into what the other districts do and how you might be able to help out in the other districts. Poll question 3 was what kind of experience your firm has. And we saw about 70% said you had advanced experience in your firm. But that kind of is a little bit different than poll question 4, where we asked what experience you as individuals have. And we see only 42% of you feel like you're advanced. So just a little different, something a little interesting to see on the poll questions. And then the final one, poll question number 6 from last time, was would you attend another industry forum? And I think it's pretty clear we have a lot of members here attending. That also gave us a good indication that communication between DOT and the industry is eagerly sought out, and we're going to do what we can to keep that communication coordination going between FDOT and the industry. And next slide, please. Or are we up to another poll?
We're going into the what's going on in OEM slides. So I think the first person up is Katasha.
Good afternoon, everyone. We have a couple of upcoming contract opportunities that we wanted to share with you all. So I realize that there was a number of folks in the chat that said they may have multiple disciplines that their company works for, but I think at least maybe this first one with natural resources might be of interest to quite a few folks on the call. But we do have our very first sort of standalone natural resources contract that we expect to advertise late this summer or early this fall. It will be a contractual services contract or a B contract. It'll be a $2 million contract over 5 years. And some of the general tasks that you could expect in this contract would include natural resource evaluation reviews, writing updates to the NRE guidance documents that we have, developing programmatic approaches for species, or supporting existing programmatics, helping out with wildlife crossing guidelines or other data support. We have our Monarch Candidate Conservation Agreement with assurances, reporting that this contract would likely support as well, different trainings and workshops, pilot studies. So for example, environmental DNA is a big topic. We did do a pilot study in that area before, so something along those lines might be done under this contract. Specification development when it comes again to species specifically, developing other new guidelines or working on our PD&E manual chapter updates and other types of public outreach activities. The second contract that we have is our statewide review and analysis support contract. This is anticipated to be advertised on the CAP in January of 2025. It's professional services, so it's a $5 million contract for 5 years. And some of the general items that may be included under this contract would include just overall OEM program support, training, the main updates to the PD&E manual and getting that publication prepared, other guidance documents, reviewing actual PD&E environmental documents, project delivery coordinator support, so basically acting as our staff to some degree, self-assessment support in other areas like cultural resources, sometimes some overlap with the natural resources contract as well, sociocultural type things, physical resources, environmental permit support. So think about the environmental permit handbook that we have and updates to that type of document or other support that may be required under that area. Public outreach and marketing for OEM, and then in-house support if we need that, and other reviews and updates to laws and regulations. So we're looking forward to getting interest in these contracts, and we will be making sure that we have plenty of opportunity for folks if they want to come meet with us to talk in more detail about them. Just feel free to reach out to myself, and we'll make sure we have chances for marketing meetings and that sort of thing. So thanks a lot.
Thanks, Katasha. And now, Catherine, we have another poll question with you.
All righty.
Can you see the poll, Catherine? Otherwise, I can read it out to the audience.
I can, thank you. It looks like everybody's already answering it, so this is good.
Amazing.
So in your experience, when you pursue projects, what size teams do you typically have? And small, medium, or large? It looks like so far most of you guys look for medium-sized teams. And the next is large, and then small so far. Seems to be holding. Got 131 of you are use medium-sized teams. Large is 61 and small is 27 so far. And that'll end the polls. And now we're going to turn it over to Jonathan to hear about some of his contracts, a couple more contracts within OEM.
Good afternoon, and to build on the additional contracts that are coming out from OEM, we're anticipating some fall to winter release first request of proposals under the General Services Administration or GSA contracts. One's anticipated to be for the Efficient Transportation Decision Making or ETDM and Environmental Screening Tool EST support, and the other is going to be under the Statewide Environmental Project Tracker or SWEPT support. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. And I think we have one more poll question with Catherine.
Yep, the last poll question before we hear from our districts. Okay, so how often do you use the ETDM manual? It's a few times a month, a few times a year, daily, or what the heck is the ETDM manual? Okay, and so it looks like most of you know what it is. I use it a couple times a year or a couple times a month. It's looking good. Okay, so we have still a few times a year for the most, and a few times a month. And we do have quite a large number wondering what is the ETDM manual. So it looks like we have some topic for a future forum, maybe. So,
We love some honest answers, don't we, Catherine?
yes, absolutely.
All right, and I think we have Jennifer Marshall with tips and tricks.
Hello, everybody. I'm gonna be very brief because I know you really want to get to hearing what the districts have to say, but we want to share with you a couple tips and tricks to help you get through your submittals and work with the districts and OEM a little bit better. So I hope that you all are aware that we have checklists out there on our website for the OEM website for a variety of topics, but specifically for our Type 2 CE reevaluations and PER documents. They're a great way to make sure you have everything included in your document, and it's a requirement to have them included in your submittals when you're ready to start going through the review process. The checklists are there for your use, but please also remember to use professional judgment. So something that you may hear me say a couple of times during this presentation or this webinar is that logic. Make sure that your documents are logical, because even if you hit everything on the checklist, if the logic doesn't match, that also results in additional comments and could affect your project schedule. That's just something simple to make the review process go a little faster. For back checks, when you get comments back, especially from OEM, when you've gotten into that part of your review process, please provide responses to the PDF comments that we provide to you, and also highlight those changes in the revised documents so that we can go through and get the back check done as quick as possible. The faster that we can go through the back check, the faster you get you're able to update your documents. We can get to approval, move on to the next very exciting project. Another just thing we want to highlight is with purpose and need. There are sometimes little adjustments that are asked to be made between ETDM and PD&E for purpose and need. However, we're not wanting to add whole new element to purpose and need between ETDM and PD&E. That's an actual change to your project. And that's something that we would need to discuss in more detail and have some meetings about, et cetera, et cetera. So just to keep in mind that, some minor editorial changes may occur. These projects go on for a while. However, we definitely don't want to add whole new elements to that purpose and need. And then with our NREs, we've heard you. We've heard that you uh, are seeing some more comments in the NREs. And I'm going to go back to what I said about the checklists and using your professional judgment and logic. We have guidance for the NREs on our website. Very much encourage you to use that, but also make sure you are being logical in your explanation of the determinations of effect, so that we can just make sure, nope, effect determinations, I'm sorry, so that we can just make sure that what we're giving to the agencies, et cetera, just it makes sense, just to keep it simple. So next slide, I think I have one more to introduce the districts. So I want to thank Siobhan and Jen for all of their time and effort, and very excited now to get to our districts.
Thank you, Jennifer. And first up, we have Florida's Turnpike Office with Rax Young. Rax?
Thank you, Jennifer. Can you hear me okay?
You sound great. Go ahead.
Okay. So my name is Rex Jung. I'm a project development engineer for the Turnpike. And so we'll kick off the district presentation. So successful consultant practice. The number one would be consultant conversation. We all know that the project cannot be successful if it's not managed effectively. So to ensure the project is progressing as planned, and the regular two-way communication, either weekly or bi-weekly, will be a foundational best practice for successful project management, especially between the department PM and the consultant PM. Having success through a direct or video chat with consultant PM or the other project team member will make for the faster problem solving and decision making for the project. Number two, the sufficiency review meeting. This is process for conducting a review, culminating in a final refinement of the result from the previous review to obtain the approval of the final public involvement material for the public meeting. The sufficiency review meeting integrate the revision from the previous review and provide an opportunity for the communication between team members to produce the final product for the better communication with the stakeholder with a clear project purpose and need, propose the practical transportation improvement and potential environmental community impact and the relevant possible mitigation. Number three, iterative process for the alternative development. This is a successful practice that Turnpike have been using for many years. With a relative closed system where the traffic can only enter and exit the roadway system at a designated interchange along the Turnpike facility. The Turnpike traffic planning team had developed a systematic approach to perform a reliable travel demand forecasting and the traffic analysis process. Using this approach, Turnpike is able to reasonably estimate the number of lane and the intersection geometry required for the project to meet the design year level service target. With this traffic detail accessible, the traffic planning team worked closely with the consultant project team through an iterative process to develop a different project alternative and finally derive the preferred alternative. Number four, consistency in the public engagement message and the presentation. The Turnpike internal team has met together regularly for the purpose of delivering the consistent message and the presentation for the public involvement, such as the public meeting notification template, rules for public meeting participation, notification board setup at the plaza, etc. Consistency ensures a clear and cohesive message, which is vital for the audience engagement. Establish a communication tool and following it constantly helps to build trust and foster the good relationship. The last bullet point, meeting the stakeholders' need and the vision to garner the support and foster collaboration for the public initiative is essential to identify and engage stakeholders with different view, perspective, interests, and opposition. Overcoming hurdle for the proposed transportation improvement involve engaging skeptics, balancing competing interests, and the effective communicating the project benefit. Although this practice is not a guarantee for the proposed improvement, but we have been seeing successful examples using this approach for some controversial projects for Turnpike in the past. Next slide, please. Request for the improvement QA/QC. We cannot emphasize more on the importance on the QA/QC for the project submittal. The effective implementation of the QA/QC process play a pivotal role in delivering products and service that meet and exceed client expectations. The integration of the QA and QC practice into an organization's culture and the process is not just a choice. It's a necessity for achieving and sustained success in today's competitive markets. As industry continue to evolve, the role of the QA and QC will remain crucial in upholding the standard of the excellence that define each firm and organization. Two, proactive the project management and the coordination. Although the risk is inherent in every project, identifying and managing risk is especially challenging during the project life. Numerous internal and external factors combined together create a complex landscape that demand focused coordination across various functional disciplines. Proactive project management and coordination with the department can help mitigate risk and lay the foundation for efficient and successful execution of the project. Number three, another statewide concern, delay on the permitting. Again, it is important to cross coordinate with the department on which permit are required and build permitting milestone within the project schedule. Other suggestions to improve this process might include early coordination with the permitting agency, appropriate and thorough environmental data collection, incorporate the field data, and provide a complete and accurate final permit application. The goal is to make sure that all permits should be clear prior to the production. Number 4, realistic step hour estimate. Failing to identify significant work package and associated project activity will result in a poor step hour estimate. In addition, the wrong assumption lead to poor estimate as well. Have the subject matter expert who have done the work before to render the estimate. They have the most knowledge and experience about the task, resources, and the dependency involving in the project. Break down the work into the smaller and manageable pieces to reduce the complexity and the uncertainty of the project and increase the accuracy and the reliability of the estimate. We are looking for the realistic step hour estimate, which can reflect the scope accordingly instead of meeting the project budget displayed in the project advertisement. Next slide, please. The upcoming opportunity, we have one PD&E for the upcoming fiscal year. This study will evaluate the Turnpike mainline widening from south of Sand Lake Road to the south of State Road 408 in the Orange County. The scope will also include the evaluation of potential new interchange and I-4 interchange improvement. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rex. And now we have District 1's Planning Administrator, Abra Horn.
Hi, I can't agree more with all the things that Rax reviewed just a moment ago. So I'm going to start off by saying we are so lucky here in District 1. We have an amazing group of consultants supporting us as we continue to work on more than 50 PD&E studies. Most of them have more years of experience assisting District 1 than I do. The successful practices listed here are examples from the teams that we already work with. That being said, we are always welcoming new consultants to come work with us and share their expertise. District 1 is continuing to seek opportunities to enhance quality while adhering to schedules. All of the things that Rax said about schedule and quality, I couldn't agree with more. Across the department, we're focused on working with communities that we work with to address transportation concerns. And most of what I would like to see going forward, and we have seen be successful in the past, is focus on how we deliver those messages and how we integrate the local communities in our decision-making process. Also, we are kind of pragmatic in District 1, but we also appreciate innovation and design suggestions. When that makes sense, when it is the best solution, as Rax pointed out, an iterative process can really help us identify the best solutions. And most importantly, we track risks in District 1 on a monthly basis, whether that's a risk to the project or a risk to the schedule. We want to report out on that at all of our progress meetings. Next slide, please. So more importantly, I'd like to have everyone think about how you can tell FDOT's story. What are we doing? Why are we doing it? Why is it good for the community? And how do we communicate those messages? In addition, our requests for improvement include proactively scheduling species-specific surveys and taking that into account at every progress meeting. Talk about that. Make sure you have all the subject matter experts attending your progress meetings. Quality goes without saying. We're looking for higher quality documents, proactive problem solving, planning your communications. Make sure that when we go out and meet with the community that we're going where they're already going to be, because that's so much easier than us trying to attract them to a meeting venue that we've identified that works for us. And so the pictures on the right are examples of where we've gone out in the community. We've done pop-up meetings. We're looking for innovation there as well. And next slide, please. So upcoming opportunities in the district, I'm going to go over 3 of them. These are on our procurement website for District 1. So looking for execution in July 2024. This is FPID number 452680-1. This is State Road 78 from west of US 41 to Veterans Parkway. The next one is looking for execution in September. This is FPID 445408-1 and -2. This is US 98 State Road 700 bridge over the Kissimmee River. And this is a PD&E with design. It's ad number 25108. And last but not least, we're looking for FPID 442404. Execution month of 2020, October 2024. This is through downtown Lake Alfred, 1792 one-way pair. We have 1.7 million for phase 22 and 9 million for phase 32. With that, I'll hand it off to the next group.
Thank you so much, Abra. Moving right along, we have District 2 with Terry Newman and Michael Brock.
Hi, this is Terry. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am, we can. Michael?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, take it away.
All right. Well, we're coming to you from the sunny area of, I guess, north central Florida, Lake City. For those of you who don't know, our district office is in Lake City, and we have an urban office in Jacksonville. And my name is Terry Newman. I'm the environmental manager for District 2. And Michael?
Hey, and I'm Michael Brock. I'm the project development manager here in District 2 in Lake City.
So we're going to tag team on this a little bit. So try to maybe hold it as more of a conversation with you instead of maybe bullet items. And therefore, I might skip something. I might go back to it. Who knows what's going to happen. Anyway, successful practices. We did this last year as well. And there's some similar items from last year that we also, have discussed again this year, but then some new and different things. So successful practices really in our permitting and PD&E. We have these firms. You're very responsive to our requests for the RAIs in permitting, additional information, and we have good quality communication with our project managers and PD&E. Just that give and take is so critical in these projects, and we have a really good team, and we have a really good handle on working with the PMs for consultant firms, and are able to reach out and get in touch with the folks we need to. I'm going to let Michael talk a little bit about public involvement.
So we all know how important public involvement is to PD&E. We had kind of earlier this year a recent run on public meetings, and our consultant partners were fantastic. They were able to keep up with us for these back-to-back meetings, including preparing for a meeting that had over 100 people attend in person, managing all of that, helping support us with conceptual videos on, seawall replacements and how it would impact areas, as well as alternative intersections. I guess being able to turn that around quickly was a great success. It's back to Terry.
Okay. And another area is our district-wide contracts. We have a number of those that cover various environmental services. Our overarching one that kind of provides support for all types of different activities. And of course, we've got a cultural resources contract, ETDM contract, contamination contract, and I think because of the relationships and the consistency we see, we have such great communication, very reliable. The quality assurance, quality control is consistent with minimum revisions. And again, that's something that develops over time. So we understand the issues with that, but you will see when we talk a little bit further about improvements. That's something that we can all focus on later on. As far as consultant, another successful practice would be the direct communication between our environmental staff and consultant environmental experts. We need that one-on-one sometimes. So maybe the PM in the engineering side, wants to relay all that information. We understand that they need that. They need that support, and they need to know what's going on. However, sometimes the direct contact with our environmental staff is so much better and eliminates that confusion, increases that consistency, and has less revisions in the sub-reports. Next slide, please. Request for improvement. One thing that the permits folks were mentioning is that the permit packages need to include that consultation that was done in PD&E with those resource agencies and that was previously conducted. Sometimes the firms that didn't do the PD&E work do not include that, and I think they just need to do a better job checking with DOT staff to make sure the documentation is included. And often we have that, and we can assist in that manner. Michael?
So we've had some projects in the past year or so where things were done kind of out of order. We'd get environmental reports before our conceptual development was fully vetted out. So they'd be either covering areas that weren't needed or more importantly, not covering areas that were, our alternatives. It leads to a lot of double work and having multiple reviews on things. I think understanding the process, and in particular the process that the district employs, is something that we can improve on. Terry?
Okay. And last, of course, is editorial mistakes. Sometimes are common in areas you would not think it should be so. Use those latest version of the guidance and checklists that are on the website. There is sometimes a response that's how we do it in district whatever, and that's not really a good response. As in all things, District 2 is different from District 6. There are differences. There's certainly differences in species, in the geography, in the social environment, the physical environment. So just be aware of that. And so there are differences there. And maybe the way another district does it is fine for them, but may not satisfy the needs for District 2. It's more productive for the consultants to reach out directly, have those conversations. If you have any questions for clarification or you want more direct guidance, to reach out to the environmental staff directly. If there are, questions about the comments, please. And, we don't want to review a document multiple times, and I'm sure you don't want to revise it multiple times. So next slide.
So when it comes to the upcoming opportunities in the district, the cupboard looks kind of bare this year. We do have 2 district-wide contracts coming out, set for advertisement later, in our cultural resources and our contamination ones. We're also always looking for opportunities on our existing projects to include things like wildlife crossings in areas where they make sense, or any resiliency efforts we can add to a project. We also have several different grant opportunities that we're pursuing, covering everything from truck parking to additional resiliency efforts. Pretty much anything we can think of to get items funded for the upcoming years. And as always, we'll typically get a bridge replacement or 2 towards the end of the year. That'll just kind of pop up. That's it for upcoming opportunities in District 2.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you both so much. And we are now at our final district before we go for a 5-minute break. So with that, I'll turn it over to Sherry Alamond from District 3. Sherry? Oh, Sherry, you're on mute. Go ahead and unmute for me.
Sorry.
No
Good
problem.
afternoon. I'm Sherry Logman, the PD&E Project Development Manager for District 3. I would like to thank all of you for being here today, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to represent District 3 in this forum. Today, I'm going to talk about successful consultant practices, requests for improvements, and of course, our 2025 consultant acquisition plan. So starting with innovation, some of our PD&E consultants come up with these great innovative solutions on project issues, especially when it comes to dealing with environmental impacts such as Section 4F or mitigation, by having experienced staff on their team that are well versed on environmental issues and Section 4F, District 3 needs, and OEM and SWEPT procedures. For example, one of our consultants has taken a proactive approach in consultation with SHPO prior to preparing documentation to save time and prepare a document that has a better chance of receiving concurrence. Some of our consultants have out-of-the-box innovative solutions on intersection control and modifications to provide alternative ways for accommodating left-turning vehicles, such as median U-turns along some of our PD&E projects. And some have innovative roadway design ideas to address the needs and interactions of users, including motorists, pedestrians, bicyclists, transit users, and freight handlers. On the quality of projects, I would like to talk about several of our PD&E projects have been nominated throughout the past few years for the American Council of Engineering Companies of Florida Outstanding PD&E/Planning Project Awards. These nominations are evaluated on the complexity, innovative concepts, cost-saving measures, public involvement, environmental impacts, sustainability, engineering challenges, safety, aesthetics, and functionality of the project. So this year, our State Road 297 PD&E has been nominated for the ACEC Outstanding PD&E Project for District 3. And I would like to express my gratitude and congratulate our hardworking consultants for this great achievement. As far as customer service and teamwork, our PD&E consultants are in constant coordination with design staff, consultants, and other departments to make sure there is harmony in carrying out the different tasks and activities to achieve the department's objectives efficiently. On one of our projects, we have PD&E roadway design and a bridge replacement happening concurrently. On one project, we have and then all members, consultants, and DOT staff involved have done an outstanding job by being a great team player, available, and providing useful information and feedback. They're also collaborating with design and other departments on the solution to a major intersection along the project. After reviewing the needs in the area, potential serious impact to right-of-way and traffic numbers, we were able to omit major changes at that intersection. When it comes to problem solving, each PD&E project presents different and unique challenges. Our experienced PD&E consultants are ready and equipped with experienced staff and tools to face these issues heads-on. On one occasion, we were able to find a great solution for the Florida Power and Light parcel that was being impacted by our capacity project. On another project, we updated the proposed typical sections in several areas based on input from design. These updates will align the PD&E and design once the PD&E phase is funded. So the following are direct comments from some of our project managers. Our consultants are very resourceful. When 2 or more projects are in the same vicinity, they schedule their work to save on mobilization costs. They're very organized and use great time management. They can communicate technical jargon into layman's terms. They're very knowledgeable in their field of work and thinking of alternative solutions when dealing with Section 4F or mitigation. Next slide, please. So when it comes to requests for improvements, these are District 3's needs. Responsiveness. Sometimes it takes longer than expected to get responses to our emails and public comments. In today's competitive business world, it is more important than ever for consultants to be responsive. We would like to be able to reach our consultants quickly and easily and expect to receive prompt responses to our questions and concerns. Acknowledging our needs or concerns will let us know that we are not being ignored. The issue that we have been dealing with a lot recently is when important staff, such as project managers, leave the company. This can make a huge difference to product we receive from our consultants and can have the potential to have a negative impact on our production schedule. On one occasion, we had one consultant with multiple staff leaving the firm due to a recent merger. For a whole week, we did not know who the new project manager or point of contact would be. This created a lot of uncertainty and lack of trust with a firm that we have been working with and trusted for years. In this type of situations, it helps when the consulting firm notifies the FDOT PM of the upcoming change in a timely manner and works with the department to ensure the individual leaving is being replaced by someone that the department feels is qualified to proceed with the demands of the contract. However, there have been times when the PM or principal in charge leaves the company with very little notice, and in some cases, all of the members of a firm leave and they have not communicated this to FDOT PM. Also, with some consultants, we have the issue of taking on too much responsibility and not relying on the experience and expertise of the staff and sub-consultants. When we select a firm for one of our contracts, we are not necessarily selecting the firm's name, but rather the individuals that make up the firm. We feel the individuals who we have gotten to know through interviews, RFPs, and possibly past work experience allow us to make the best decision possible for what firm we want to represent FDOT. When we award a contract, it is with the intention that these are the individuals who will be responsible for the tasks we assign to their firm. And our second item is unfamiliar with district needs. So we keep hearing that's not how it's done in other districts. We may be one FDOT, but each individual district has different needs. This is especially true when it comes to species. What may be focused on in one district may not exist in another. So our recommendation is that consultants should be studying the needs of the specific district and not just relying on the knowledge of the last district. For example, we had an issue with one consultant that had a protection measure listed for a species that doesn't even occur in our district and another species that we do not utilize protection measures for. Another issue is having accounting staff that are not familiar with Florida rules for vendors so that invoicing issues are handled promptly. One example deals with one of our consultants that recently merged with another firm and created a new name. Since they have not updated all their information in the vendor system, we cannot process their invoices. Sorry. And finally, understanding of Florida's noise program. Florida's noise program is well defined in the PD&E manual, handbook, and supplemental tools, but may differ from other states. We need consultants with noise analysis experience and understanding of Florida's noise program. In circumstances not outlined by the PD&E manual and other documents, noise analysts should coordinate with the district noise analyst and the FDOT OEM. Next slide, please. And this is our upcoming opportunities for our district. Currently, we have 17 ongoing PD&E projects, a mix of sun trails and capacity projects. And some of these projects are moving to design right after PD&E completion. We have candidate projects prioritized by TPOs currently pending available funding, we're looking at some other PD&E opportunities for trails and capacity projects such as US 98, which is an east-west 6 corridor and a hurricane evacuation route. And some of our district-wide contracts will be up for renewal in 2025. And that pretty much wraps it up for our district. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you so much, Sherry, and to all of our districts that have presented so far. Right now, we're going to take a 5-minute break. So it is now 2:20. We will be back at 2:25. Thanks, everyone.
You did good. Oh, thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. So we are in the second half of our partnership focus section, starting with District 4. So Hesa, take it away.
Hi, Yes. Hi, good afternoon. I'm Heisa Sosa, Project Development Manager for District 4, and we're going to go over the successful consultant practices. So the first one is teaming, presenting staff resources. We do see when we have a new consultant team on board or a technical review committee, they bring a lot of redundancy and they have a good team where we can work even when they have staff changes or vacancies. The response time has been very good for District 4. The quality of visuals, the 3D renderings, the concepts, the visuals for public involvement, for the most part, they have been very good quality. The quality of the engineering analysis, they provide very good engineering analysis. We have comments, but we haven't seen poor engineering analysis where we're like redo the whole engineering. The direct communication with FDOT support staff. We have in District 4, they're able to contact any staff member. They don't have to go through the project manager, and that keeps the work flowing and the questions are answered in a promptly manner. Using QA/QC checklists. Sometimes the consultants have their own internal checklists, and other times they use the department provided ones. Having monthly project meetings. District 4, we have monthly project meetings, and that's been very successful at keeping the project and the schedule, and also finding upcoming milestones or any issues that are pending. So by meeting every month, we're able to keep things on track. Next slide, please. Okay, areas for request for improvements. So quite often when we have consultants presenting their ideas, we find a lot of innovative ideas and approach the project, and they present opportunities to keep this on schedule. And then we're missing following through on those ideas, following through with the consultants on the ideas presented or on the schedule. So there's a little bit of room for improvement there. The scheduled discovery meeting with FDOT project manager and support staff within the 2 weeks. That's another one that is not always being done. And sometimes not all the staff is being invited. So that's something we're working on. As soon as the notice to proceed is received, schedule public kickoff meeting and develop the project website. That's another area for improvement. We have found that sometimes a few months go by and we don't have a project website. We want the project website to be the first thing to be developed, and then schedule the kickoff meeting and work towards work backwards from the kickoff meeting. And following up on that, when scheduling public meetings, work backwards, right? So we have a target date. We have meetings with the MPO in between. So we still need to improve on working the schedule backwards and making sure the meetings that are needed in between now and the next public meeting are being addressed. So we are not rushing to get the MPO meeting. That the consultant should follow the MPO agendas and then be able to prepare for the MPO meeting that has to occur prior to the public meetings. Next slide. And more on the request for improvement, we need more plain English approach to presentations. Also, be more proactive in response to the community concerns. Recently, we had a project where the project manager and team were able to communicate internally with us what the preferred alternative was from the community, and we were able to move forward with that alternative, even though it wasn't the one with the highest scoring. But we still need to incorporate this more in projects and more internal communication on the community concerns. Keeping FDOT staff informed on staffing changes. So obviously there are many changes in the consultant world, and we need to be notified as soon as possible on the project manager changes or even the team lead. So that's something we need from the consultant. Work on documents and SWEP uploads as work progresses instead of waiting for critical milestones. So we ask consultants to any document that is ready, please go and upload it on the web and keep uploading as the project progresses, and not wait until, okay, there's a deadline approaching and then we're going to upload all the documents last minute. And the QA/QC process, even though we mentioned it's going well, it still needs improvement. Next slide. So currently at District 4, we have 9 projects ongoing, and then these will be 5 upcoming projects. We're also providing support on 2 off-system projects where they are being administered by local entities, but District 4 staff is providing support. So the upcoming opportunities in the district is State Road 820 Pines Boulevard at Flamingo Road. That's coming up in August. And then we have I-95 south of Southwest High Meadow Avenue to State Road 70. So that would be 2 segments, and it would be awarded as 2 contracts. So not one consultant will get this whole section. It will be 2 contracts. The consultant may have one of the sections and another consultant for the second section. And we also have I-95 from Indiantown Road to Southwest High Meadow Avenue. And this one, we will have 2 contracts. We will have one section for the Palm Beach. There's the northern end of Palm Beach County, and then we'll have Martin County and another contract for the northern section of Martin County. Okay. Yes, we may award 2 contracts on this one. Okay. And
All right.
Thank
you so much, Hesa.
Thank you.
And now District 5, represented today by Casey Lyon.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Casey Lyon. I'm the District 5 Environmental Manager, and I'm happy to be here to talk during this forum, and just want to say how grateful that District 5 is for our consultant community. So some successful consultant practices that we have experienced in projects over the last year, and I'm going to use some project-specific examples telling the story. So we are building 2 secant walls, one in Volusia County, one in Flagler County, to protect A1A. And this has been kind of controversial in the last years, but our consultants on the project, they told the story. They told the background history. They explained the issues, the needs, examined potential solutions, and explained why one had more merit over another to the stakeholders. They listened to the stakeholders to gather community input, and we built the community into the success of the project. Number 2, focusing on a concept and engineering solution that can be readily implemented in design. So our LPGA Boulevard, this is an interchange project. Our consultants found a creative concept to solve our project need, which was really focused on extremely high future traffic demand. They found creative solutions, and we selected an alternative that has a signalized turbine interchange, which is the first kind in the US. Having in-depth knowledge and experience in both PD&E and NEPA. For our truck parking projects, our consultants worked efficiently through the NEPA process to deliver 5 environmental documents. So that was 1 for each truck parking site. They overlapped phases, had efficient OEM coordination, built consensus, had a robust public engagement, and kept the project oriented towards funding opportunities so that we could accelerate not just the development process, but also getting these sites constructed. Number 4, partnering with communities. Our consultants on 2 of our projects, State Road 426 and Nova Road, created community-centric projects where we had coalitions that proactively partnered and engaged with communities to identify issues, the needs, develop direct solutions, gain community input, to create these projects that the community could champion and make an impact in terms of spot safety improvements within the specific constraints of triple R projects. And then number 5, starting with the end in mind and being flexible on how we get there. So our I-75 Moving Florida Forward projects, the district worked with our consultants as one team to identify the project's ultimate goal and strategize how to get there. Our consultants collaborated with FDOT on having the project completed on a very rapid timeline to be ready for design build delivery. They engaged with stakeholders to build project support and kept flexibility within the group, knowing that we would have changes along the way. And there was this great ability for our consultants to adapt to continue towards our ultimate goal. Next slide, please. So our district's request for improvements, availability of staff. We recognize that this is an industry-wide issue, but we would like for you to start planning on how to staff up in the future, train your new folks, and prepare your workforce for our PD&E industry. Ownership and intensity. Our expectation is that consultants share ownership over decisions and overall project success. So we need the focus and intensity to achieve project goals to create these great projects. Clearly communicate reasoning behind project decisions. So to be able to communicate why decisions were made to project stakeholders, why we did certain things, to not just the stakeholders, but also to the district and any member of the public of how we got to our end result. And then the QA/QC, just ensuring that documents and information have been reviewed and back-checked. This allows for quicker district and OEM reviews and more complete documents. So learn from your firm's other recent submittals as common comments get made by reviewers, and to provide districts consistent products across projects. Next slide, please. So some of our upcoming opportunities that we have at District 5, we're going to have 2 I-95 interchange projects. These are going to be one advertisement, so we'll select both these projects from the one advertisement. These are interchange and add lanes, and your project manager is going to be Erica Schellenberger. The ad is later this year, or later this summer, and I believe that marketing meetings are already open. Then we have our State Road 60. This is a widening project from the Polk County line to US 441. Your project manager is going to be Nicole Bellion, and the ad is in September of this year. I believe that marketing meetings should be starting to open this month. And then we have our continuing services contract for modeling support. This is modeling services on various projects, and your PM is Melissa Winsett, and that ad is coming this June. And that's all I have.
Thank you so much, Casey. And I believe, yes, that link for their acquisition plan website is in the chat for you guys as well. And now we'll hear from District 6.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dat Nguyen. I'm the District 6 Planning and Environmental Administrator. And as you all should know now, we are focused on the DOT compass, and most of it is surrounded by the community. So as you know, having the community buy-in makes a successful project. So you'll hear a lot of the successful consultant practices are built around that, building the community, starting with the coordination with the municipalities, working with the public through various public meetings, homeowners association meetings, and even project advisory team meetings. Okay. The flexibility also comes in on working one-on-ones as requested through these communities. So making that connection with the community and selling them, or basically showing them the benefits and how that project will benefit them. And we also coordinate with other ongoing projects in the area, as well as crossing district boundaries. And that goes also for county boundaries. So we have some projects that goes up to Broward into District 4, and then down on the Keys going into Monroe County. So we have those projects, and we want to make sure we coordinate with all the projects and the municipalities. Okay, one of the other successful practice that we've seen is how we are able to navigate through the controversies of managed lanes through education, and how it benefits them. How can they get to pick up their sons or daughters after school on time, without having to pay those late fees and whatnots. Okay, and then also for innovation is keeping the open mind and using the value engineering process and incorporating some of those recommendations that come from there to build a better project. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, we also have some requests for improvements. Again, it's the flow of the project from planning into project development environment. We want to make sure that we do a better job doing our planning studies so that we can minimize alternatives during the PD&E studies. Okay. The other thing is, the next phase, the subsequent phase from PD&E is going into design. So make sure we coordinate with the design team, looking at the alignments, the criterias, so that we're not getting ahead of ourselves, to make sure that we can get any design variations or exceptions, that we can get those through before we commit to doing certain alternatives. The next thing is the deliverable into construction. Okay, so flowing there, we want to make sure that we deliver something that's more manageable in size for the construction projects, approximately 300 million or something, so that you break down instead of having $1 billion projects. Okay, and then the other thing is balancing the right-of-way needs with meeting criteria. So we just cannot, again, try to meet criterias and purchase a whole bunch of right-of-way, because if you look at the project costs or right-of-way costs, it's almost equal to the construction cost nowadays. So we want to try to minimize those right-of-way as much as possible while we're meeting criteria. Okay, and next slide. So we have several opportunities. Again, you want to be looking out for these opportunities farther ahead than this coming year. But we do have a couple projects, or actually 3 projects, that are coming out this year. One in particular is the Cart Sound Road Bridge PD&E study, and that's the one that's in Monroe County. Okay, we also have some upcoming projects that are in the pipelines, which are the I-95 projects, and as well as the Palmetto Expressway. And as you know, we're about to begin into our work program development. So some of these may move, but keep tabs on these projects. And then the last project we have here is the Lehman Causeway, having a shared use path, PD&E. And then I have one more that I did not list here, is we have a district-wide PD&E consultant contract coming up soon. And that's it from District 6. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dat. And last but certainly not least, we have District 7 with Kirk Bogan.
Good afternoon. My name is Kirk Bogan. I'm the Environmental Management Engineer here in District 7, and we thank you for joining us this afternoon. I won't hold you long, but I want to go over some successful consultant practices here in District 7 that we have experienced here in District 7. And the first is a willingness to prioritize workloads to accommodate fast response projects. Here in District 7, we seem to have projects that pop up and we need to clear projects in a timely manner. And so we're thankful for our consultant industry and responding, especially our specialty sub-consultants, and the way they respond to our requests, our last minute requests. So that's going great here in District 7. Also, industry-wide, we're thankful for all of our consultants submitting their monthly invoices within 30 to 45 days. If most project managers are like me, I can't remember what happened yesterday, let alone 3 months and 4 months ago. So it's good to have those invoices current so that we can process those in a timely manner. And number 3 is the industry has done a great job in anticipating challenges or problems and providing solutions before they anticipate what's coming down the pipeline, and we're not caught flat-footed, but we're ready to respond to those challenges, to those problems, and provide solutions. So we thank the industry for for being forward thinking on those items. And number four is understanding your unique needs and challenges and providing customized solutions. Um, Making sure that you know the audience and the community in which we are serving. And so our consulting industry has done a great job in getting to know the needs of the community and to be able to understand what those needs are and provide solutions that will help a win-win situation for both the department and for the community. So we thank you for that. And next slide. And so our request for improvements with industry, I know seems to be a theme in districts, is quality control. We feel that we need your help in providing a quality product and making sure that quality control reviewers are for both technical and for presentation grammar. So many times we overlook the presentation grammar. These reports are being viewed by the public also, and so we want to make sure that they're readable to the public, and make sure that we look through the documents for both the technical and for the presentation and grammar, so that we can have a better product in which we put out to the public for its review. Also, the number two is one that don't be afraid to consult or discuss during comment resolutions. In other words, just because Kirk is a dinosaur doesn't mean that Kirk knows everything. And if you, we appreciate when the consultants, for better lack of word, challenge or have discussions with us, and if something doesn't seem right, a comment that is made by the department, instead of just making the changes, if you feel very passionate about it, please come and talk with us and have a discussion with us. We don't bite, and so just come in and have a great conversation with us so that we can move forward in the project. And number three is make sure that the templates are up to date. We are seeing a lot of examples of firms that are using old projects that they've done years ago, and sometimes the regulations have changed and things have changed in the industry, and those are not reflected. I know sometimes we like to recycle, but make sure that we update those templates before we submit them to the department for our review. And as you've heard from a couple other districts, just be aware of district preferences. We are one DOT, but we all have our quirks. Anybody that knows me knows what my quirks might be. And so just make sure that you are aware of what the district prefers, especially on the checklist when it's optional on those checklists. Just know what district the district that you're working in prefers, and in our case, and what District 7 prefers. Everyone knows that Kirk likes a small document, as small as possible, and so just making sure that we get the product that we prefer here in District 7. Next slide. Upcoming opportunities here in District 7. We have a US 301 from Marcus and Wallow Road that starts in District 1, I'm sorry, and comes into District 7 to 674 sometime in fiscal year 25. We had an opportunity, we had a desire to do these before, but we could not get it on our cap plan. And so we're looking to do that sometime in late fiscal year 25. And the next couple of contracts, we have two contracts, continuing services. I put those on there, even though they're fiscal year 26, because I want the teams to be thinking about who you're going to be teaming with to provide us what we need. This is our true continuing services contract, and we need to get you thinking about who you're going to team with to make sure that you have the best team to provide us the services that we need. This is a comprehensive continuing services contract, anything PD&E in this contract. And so please, we look forward to that because we know with continuing services contract, they are not renewable. They're 5 years. And so we're looking for those two to become renewable there in fiscal year 26. And this next one, we are not exactly certain when this will, you will see this on our cap. It's the Ayers Road extension from US 41 to near I-75 in Hernando County. We're currently doing a feasibility study on this corridor. Parts of it will be on new alignment. And so stay tuned for more information about this Ayers Road extension. I call it the Ayers Road extension because we had an Ayers Road extension, and now this is an extension of the extension. So thank you. Look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you so much, Kirk. And thank you, District 7 and all of our districts. Again, thank you so much for presenting today. Real quick, before we head into ACEC with Sylvia, just a reminder that you can ask questions either for the districts that we can get back to them or for our upcoming Q&A with Jennifer Marshall in the next section. So send us your questions. All right, Sylvia.
Thank you. All right, you can go on to the next slide. Great. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sylvia Beltry with Artura Group. I serve as the co-chair for the ACEC PD&E subcommittee. When I was given the opportunity to present here today, we polled the committee, and actually what resonated the most was finding out a little bit more about ACEC Florida, what we do, how we do it, and how we collaborate. So it's no surprise to anyone on this call that ACEC, and specifically ACEC Florida, is the voice of engineering in the Sunshine State, bringing together more than 300 companies and 20,000 employees represented. Next slide. For many years, ACEC Florida has worked with the engineering industry to deliver innovation, promote public policy, create jobs, and overall improve the quality of life for all Floridians. Our members represent and promote and advocate for all engineering disciplines. Although we like to think of it as transportation alone, it's a lot more than just transportation. Next slide. We provide our members with opportunities to connect through networking, educational opportunities, professional development resources, and the ability to have your voice heard and considered in the future of our industry. And you'll see a few examples of that as we go through the presentation. ACEC Florida includes 10 committees. We, of course, fall under the Transportation Committee. A little bit more about the Transportation Committee in the next slide. So the Transportation Committee is comprised of 8 subcommittees, with the District Liaison Committee broken up into 8 different ones as well, representing one for each district as well as Florida's Turnpike Enterprise. They meet quarterly with the leadership of each district, going over concerns and issues and upcoming policy changes. I'm here today specifically to talk about the PD&E subcommittee and our role. Next slide. So some quick facts. I co-chair the committee with Catherine Bradley from OEM. The committee is comprised of FDOT members representing each district and consultants representing companies that work in each geographic region. From the consultant side, we also try to maintain membership representing the range of engineering firms, from small to medium to large. Members serve a 5-year term with new members rotating every 2 years. We recently welcomed Amy Sermons to our group, who joined in January, and the next opening is coming up in June of 2025. The current committee roster is shown here. Consultants working in planning or PD&E are encouraged to submit any questions or concerns that they want. We are on, I think we're on the wrong slide. Can you go back one? Yeah. So submit
yes,
any.
No worries. Sorry about that.
To anyone that you see here today, any concerns or comments or questions that you want the committee to address. Those concerns are kept anonymous, so we field them through the committee and we can get back to everyone. So please feel free to reach out to any one of you, whoever you feel most comfortable with. Next slide. So we meet on a quarterly basis with a set agenda that includes, when available, presentations on new topics, new policies, or areas of interest. To date, we've had a few presentations from central office, but this is an opportunity for you, the industry, to become part of our committee for one of these presentations. If you have a topic that you would like to present that represents a best practice, perhaps you do work in another state, there's an opportunity for you to attend one of our committee meetings, see what it's about, and present a topic that's of interest to all of us here. So reach out to any one of our members and we'll get you scheduled. Next slide. The PD&E quarterly meetings inform the larger Transportation Committee meeting, which is held in person quarterly as well. The executive team, which is made up of the chairs of all the subcommittees, meet prior to this in-person event to share notes, distribute what was discussed, and then officially report at the in-person meeting that's held quarterly. The next one is coming up in Jacksonville on April 23rd. They're open to all ACEC members. They fill up fast, so if you are interested in going, once you get that reminder, go ahead and register. Regional meetings are also held every 9 months. They typically combine 2 districts. The most recent one was on March 14th, Pi Day. That was fun. We had District 4, District 6, and Central Office leadership represented. It was great, attended by a lot of folks. Got a lot to share, a lot of information, upcoming changes, and it was just a great experience overall. Next slide. ACEC also holds conferences. We have 3 coming up soon. The first 2 are in June. The PM conference is in collaboration with FDOT, and that is intended to give an opportunity for up and coming PMs to meet on both sides. It's touted to be 50-50, 50% consultant representation, 50% FDOT representation. So we definitely want to encourage networking. This is already open for registration. If you have not registered yet, I suggest you do so as soon as you can. It does fill up fast as well. It is overlapped with the annual conference, which is the 6th and the 7th. And that is also where the Florida Engineering Leadership Institute presents their class project for the year, another great organization that's part of ACEC. And then in, I want to say July 24th and 27th in Miami this year, there's a joint conference between FES and ACEC, so look out for that. That is also open for registration. As I think someone mentioned, yes, we have outstanding project awards. Those applications are currently being reviewed and voted upon by our committees. The 2 that represent opportunities for PD&E and planning are shown here, one for PD&E planning or one for an environmental project. I encourage you all to submit on an annual basis for these opportunities. It's a great recognition to all the teams. So nominations may be submitted annually by each of the 7 FDOT districts, as well as Florida's Turnpike Enterprise and by central office. And the ACEC Florida Outstanding Project Awards Committee is the one that selects the actual winners. Next slide. And finally, we are invested in making sure that together we will deliver on the Secretary's compass. With a shared vision for safety, we collaborate with districts to support safety initiatives. Most recently, we got a request from District 4 for ACEC to support the work zone safety that just started this week. And we support workforce development as well. We just held a very successful 2nd annual District 4, District 6, ACEC, and FES career fair at Florida International University, attended by both districts' leadership as well as booths for both districts and 42 companies as well as contractors represented. Students from FIU asked great questions. We're looking to make it even better as we continue moving along, encouraging other disciplines to be involved, not just engineers, but sciences, because we all know we need folks in all fields. So we plan to expand it out to other fields as well as we move forward. This is the 2nd one, as I said. We also assist FDOT with vetting new technology, and of course, community is at the focal point of everything we do, from the projects we work on to collaborating as an industry. We support new policies such as resiliency, which is near and dear to what we do here. And of course, we serve as a liaison to the industry from the construction perspective. So with that, I wanted to thank the entire OEM team for giving ACEC an opportunity to present here today. And that's all I got. Thanks.
And thank you, Sylvia. That was some great information, some awesome opportunities coming up with your organization. And before we start with the Q&A and winding down the forum here, just wanted to remind everybody to stay till the end. OEM has some fun announcements, and we are going to do two last poll questions. So, Catherine, we got the first poll question working again, so we figured we'd give one more try.
Sounds great.
Okay.
So this is our last poll question, not the first one. So do you
Yes.
use any of the documents OEM provides? Oh, no, you're good. Okay, I see a lot of always and a lot of sometimes. That's encouraging. And for just a reminder, those can all be found on our website. So if you ever want to go through our website, look under documents and publications. There's a lot of guidance documents located there that can help you in just about anything, like from noise to engineering documents to species, just a little bit of everything.
Awesome. We got some great responses. So let's try that poll question number one more time. There we go.
Okay, I'm not seeing it just yet. So if you want to go ahead and read it.
Yes, I certainly can. Looks like I'm fighting the urge to announce it like a race. It looks like it's prime consultants at 79% that's edging out, and sub-consultants at around 21%. Let's see what we end up with. All right, yeah, it looks like for the most part, our firms on the line are prime consultants by 78%.
Great. Well, thank you everybody who responded to that. And for whatever reason, I apologize. My screen is frozen. I'm not seeing the next stuff. So
No worries. Can you see
it's just
the
on my end.
presentation, Catherine?
I can't. I'm stuck on the poll.
Okay.
But that's okay.
We'll go to the next slide. So this is the guidance
Okay.
update slide.
If you'd like, Catherine, I can go ahead and just cover that.
That'd be great. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Hi, guys. Back with your friendly neighborhood director, Jennifer Marshall, just telling you about a little bit of things that we have coming up. And we have 2 PD&E manual updates that are coming up. We're shooting for July on both of these. So July 2024, we have some minor updates coming to the PD&E manual, mostly to bring us in line with items from our 2023 self-assessment, the upcoming ETDM manual, update, and some of those items include some clarity for planning consistency, for instance, a clarification of the timing for class of action. One of the other things that we're doing is we are removing the official statewide acceleration transformation process or SWAT process from the manual as it stands. We are finding that districts are doing that process in their own ways, but in the way it's very prescriptive in the manual, not necessarily everyone is doing it. So they're doing the activities, getting the results, but just not necessarily in that very specific way. Plus, to be very honest with you, most of our design and operations folks still think of SWAT as PD&E and design overlap. So I did an unofficial poll. It made me giggle a little bit. So I figured let's get us all on the same page again. Keep your eyes out for that upcoming PD&E manual update in 2024. We will also post what those, a summary of what those updates are, so that you can follow along very clearly. And then in 2025, we'll have a bit of a more major update. for us consolidating some of our processes, looking at how we can better comply with the recent laws that have come out, et cetera. But more to come on that. I will say we are coordinating closely with the districts on what those updates will mean. And just to go into, change that's happening that we have right now. I mentioned in the last forum, and I gave a list of a lot of the law changes, legislative changes we've had federally and in the state. And honestly, y'all, this has been a time of change in the NEPA arena, unlike we have seen really seriously since the environmental justice time of the 1990s. And so I recognize and I hear quite a bit folks saying, well, this isn't how we've done it, or the old guard used to do it this way, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? We're very aware. But we are in need of making changes for a variety of reasons, not just the legislative changes, but we're looking at the largest work program that we have ever had. We are looking right now at $68 billion over the next 5 years. But beyond that, we have some very specialized programs that we have going on that are looking at accelerated projects, such as moving Florida forward. And so we are having to change the way we work. We are having different types of delivery methods coming through, such as the phase design build approach. That requires us to look at the way we do work and make some adjustments. One real positive in all of this, though, is that we are established as a NEPA assignment state. So now that we are in monitoring, we're no longer in auditing, and we, are looking at our next renewal at hopefully being able to renew for 10 years, similar to California. We're able to actually find some efficiencies and streamline, et cetera, in our program because we have shown ourselves to be a well-respected and established commodity. So I say all that to say I recognize things are changing. We are trying to minimize the actual strong, impact to the way you do work. But for what you heard from the districts today, please do be aware of the guidance that we have on our websites. Please do come to training when we put it up. Please communicate with your districts about what are the requirements and what are the expectations at this time. Communication is really what's going to help us get through all of this at this time. The Army Corps of Engineers has 404 permit application training coming up on Tuesday, May 14th, and we will be sending out information on how you can get a link to that information. As you all know, we have had some changes in the 404 arena. I'm not going to go into the details of that right now, but we are very pleased with both of our partners in the 404 arena for all the support that they've given us and the communication. And we especially appreciate the Army Corps stepping in to help us make sure that we can preserve our work program at this time. Last but not least, from an update standpoint, we have several sessions going on at the Transportation Symposium, both in June and in November. I especially encourage you to come see the district case studies. We have one on cultural resources and one on resilience, and we're very excited to be able to showcase the activities that our districts are doing and start to collaborate a little bit on how we can enhance, improve our projects based on what we see others doing, and just share our successes in general. We also have a session on planning consistency. I think that a lot of you would love to know anything about planning consistency because it is a moving target all the time. So that will be me and Nick Reed from HNTB presenting that. Also, we'll have a session with PD&E and alternative delivery, how those things go together. We have several different ways of delivering projects now, phase design build being the newest, adjusted score design build being an old, hat that we've had. And what does that mean for how you're going through your PD&E process when it seems like the time frame between PD&E and getting something out to construction or to design is going so much faster. So Jason Watts will be joining me on that one. And then of course, we have a session on what's new in PD&E and what's going on there, again, led by yours truly. And I encourage you to come and have some feedback about what's going on in that arena as well. Next slide. Our website is scary sometimes. We recognize that. But I want to recognize Lindsay Rothrock in our office, as well as the Adkins team, for helping us to make some great enhancements to our website. We're trying to work through over the next year a pretty big redesign of our website to make it more user friendly for all of you, especially since we keep sending you there for different information. But right now, the cultural resources page has been updated. We are so excited about the progress that we've been making in cultural resources. They have a story map talking about a lot of the work that we've been doing with our curation project, which is absolutely amazing. We have a new documents and resources page, which hopefully is a little more streamlined for everyone. And we're very proud on our homepage that cultural resources and environmental management was featured in the second Florida in Motion video cast with Secretary Perdue. And I really want to thank our cultural resources team here in Central Office, as well as Ian Pond with District 2 for all of the hard work they put into making sure that we were represented as environmental professionals so well in that presentation. And the secretary was pretty impressed. Just to add on to that, we up here in central office have been given the opportunity to put together a museum, if you will, of the artifacts that we're curating. And that came right from the secretary. It was his idea. So we really appreciate leadership support of our programs. And finally, another item that I just want to highlight is we celebrated Archaeology Month in March. We held an open house here in Central Office, and these kind of outreach events are very important. I mean, we work hard, we play hard, but we also got to get out there, as several districts said, and tell our story. And we have a variety of stories to tell. And so our cultural resources team again put together this amazing open house. We, from the work they've been doing on Archaeology Month, the Florida in Motion, video cast, etc. We have gotten solicitations from people interested in working in the cultural resources arena in our state. So we've had 3 interested parties reach out. We're seeing what we could do with that. And I just want to say, though, that when there is a cultural resource team shortage nationwide, we here in Florida are encouraging people to look at us. So just want to say that, so proud of all of the work that we do in environmental management. In these outreach activities that the cultural resources team has done, we've had almost 200 participants from outside and people getting very excited about our work in Florida. So again, thank you all for all that you do. Next slide, please. Before we go into the Q&A corner, I do want to mention one other thing. I want to give a specific shout out to Katasha Cornwell in our office, Brent Setchell in District 1, for their work on helping to develop our panther conservation plan. It's one of the first in the country. We have gotten support from our NGOs on the development of the conservation plan because it was DOT initiated, not another regulatory agency initiated. And I really do want to recognize Katasha for her dedication and commitment and creativity to doing such a great job to help us move forward, not only in our projects so that we can move through consultation faster, but also strengthening partnerships and showing that we, the Florida Department of Transportation, have a commitment to our communities, whether they're our natural communities or our people communities, or what have you. So again, great job to our environmental professionals for all the wonderful work that they do. So Jen, I know you're here to pepper
Yes,
me with questions, and I'm ready.
I am. I am. Actually, we just put the link in for Katasha's the Panther information that you had. So,
And I'm just
anyways,
saying, folks on this call, this is truth time, so give it to me. I'm ready. I can take it.
okay. So one of the questions we got is there's a lot of these bigger environmental contracts coming out, but some of the firms don't have like the engineer or the planner. They have a lot of environmental people that work there. So how do they go about getting these, getting on these jobs or going after these jobs? Is it going to be part of the BDI program eventually? do you have, that's obviously a discussion to be had.
So I will say, I think first and foremost, that if you have some contract thoughts and discussions, it may be good to talk with your ACEC representatives and see how we can bring this up a little more organized to have a discussion. I can speak from our OEM contracts. We do have a B contract coming up for natural resources because we have a need for very specific expertise, and the B contracts don't require pre-qualifications like you were just describing, Jen. So that's one of the reasons that we looked at that for us. The other thing I can also say is that teaming is very important. One of the things that I know you've heard as a theme with the districts talking today is that um, we don't have a lot of people, and no one is expecting any one firm to do it all on their own. And so teaming, I think, is more important than ever for the support contract that we have coming out at OEM. We are encouraging a variety of firm types in that partnering, not just a bunch of big firms. You know, I would also say that I wouldn't have all the little firms get together and just have a little country to do the contract with too, but just a good variety of large, medium, and small firms when you're pursuing these contracts could actually help you in the long run. I don't want to speak for the districts. I will just speak for us that we would appreciate that range of expertise. So we can have more contracting talks, like I said, but maybe it's better if we direct those through ACEC and see where we land.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. A little bit kind of along those lines, you talked about just a second ago about having maybe a different approach or different delivery. Could you explain real quick how with the phase design build, just how is that different from everything else? I know some of us who deal in construction might see it more often, but I think it would be just a good because it's an innovative approach.
So with traditional, I'll say adjusted score design build, a project advertises, there's an RFP, and a request for proposal, and there's a whole ATC process, and that is a part of the selection for a project. And then when we go into design build, if you're not aware, there are some new guidelines for the materials that need to be provided, the level of plans that need to be provided for assurances in a design build contract. With phase design build, it's a little different. First of all, there is an RFQ. The contract is selected by qualifications, and NEPA does not necessarily have to be completed, meaning the original NEPA document prior to the advertisement of the project. So we have some projects that are going either way. We have some that are fully complete with NEPA. We have some that the NEPA is not complete yet. So it allows more flexibility. The contractor then has about a year of, I'll say, pre-construction activities. And so we actually end up working a lot closer with the contractor themselves in that process, the NEPA folks, which is unusual. And the contractor has to put together work packages, and those work packages go forward with what work they're able to do. So it's a and I am being super high level about this, but it's a very innovative concept. It really allows our area to get a little more integrated into the results of the project rather than being so far in the as we have been before. But I very much encourage you to come to the symposium and hear us talk about it, and then you'll get all the details. I'm just saying.
And what was the date of the symposium again? Did you provide that?
I did not, but I'm
I'll
going to
put
guess
that in
off
the
the top of
link.
my head that it's June 13th and 14th in Hollywood, and maybe it's the 11th and the 12th of November in Orlando. And I may be one day off on all those dates.
I'll say June in the chat.
Thank you. That would be
And
good.
then speaking of the chat, we had a question about the cultural resources story map link in your chat. If you cannot see it, it should say FDOT's Histories Mysteries as the name of the story map when it comes up. But if you cannot see it, I would recommend trying a different browser because I just double checked the link. So yeah, try a different browser or try it on your phone because it is really neat. I would take a look.
And we do not have any other questions that have come through in the chat. besides just those few about the contracts. But I'm sure that you have something else you would like to talk about.
There was a comment actually, if we wanted to talk through that real quick, and then Jen, I know you have stuff to.
No, that's okay. Please, what's the comment?
The comment says that it may be beneficial to invite MPO staff to any and all future PD&E trainings and updates so that they can better understand the requirements and how some things have changed or how the process is changing. Do you already have a plan for that, of how to involve the MPO in some of these upcoming changes?
That is such an easy question to ask. Um, um, Actually, we do work closely with our Office of Policy Planning, who are the typical liaisons with the MPOs. We'll take that under advisement to make sure that the MPOs are, and we'll talk with OPP to see if we can get a better communication about educating them more about what's going on with NEPA. But I would say that when we have trainings, et cetera, um, we're pretty open to everyone. So local agencies that are doing discretionary grants, um, uh, LAP or MPOs or whomever, if you see a need or you're working with a client or the district see a need, please feel free to share that information because we just simply may not know everyone or have the latest information about everyone that should be present, but we definitely want to make sure that we're capturing the biggest audience that we can.
But helpful to know that there's already a semi an avenue through the Office of Policy Planning. So thank you for
Absolutely.
that.
So I did see some of the counties had joined the forum today. So that's really good news. What's the best way for them to be able to get the information when you are doing updates and when you have trainings?
Let me find out. And I say that because I don't want to obligate the district staff to anything in advance. And I also want to make sure that someone else isn't funneling this information. So let me take a look and see maybe the best avenues for us to get information out, and then we'll get back to everyone. What I will say though is even our local partners, welcome local partners who are on this webinar, you can always go to our OEM website as well. And we have training posted there. We have our resources posted there. We have our contact information posted there. So please do use our website as a resource, even if we're not getting information completely out. Also, Contact Mailer is an excellent resource. We typically use that for all of our training needs.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking the contact mailer would be good for anybody because then they can get all the information and kind of filter through it as to what they
Yep.
would need. So
I think you need to check environmental to make sure you get our stuff.
okay, yeah, and we just had somebody put in the comment, I don't know if you saw this one, Siobhan, that they got a notification of this webinar by being on the, I don't know if it's considered LTAP or LTAP mailing list for local technical assistance programs. So that's a great network. There's a lot of things are spreading. So that's great.
Yep.
So, and that's the last comment we received. So
Well, I just want to really just thank everyone who's participated today. I want to thank all the districts. It is, as I always say, a pleasure and a privilege to be able to be the director of OEM and to work with all our wonderful districts and their staff. Statewide. I want to thank all of you from the consultant industry and our ACEC partners who joined us today because we understand we completely could not complete our work without having partnership with you. And we do hope that these sessions that we're having are helping to bring us closer together and help us work more effectively and efficiently in really just amazing circumstances, right? Florida has, from our standpoint, we have the second largest workload, only second to California. So we're exceeding even Texas, especially in a NEPA standpoint. I won't speak to anything else, but I'll say from a NEPA standpoint, California, Texas, and Florida are all NEPA assignment states, and we we're up there and we're making the magic happen. So we can only continue to do that if we work together and work together cohesively. So like I said, I appreciate the time and the effort that the districts took today, and their candor and honesty and sharing with you what their needs are. And we have coming up, the next forum will be industry centric. But before we get to that, one of the things that I'm sure you've all heard is about QA/QC. I'm sure you hear that in your district meetings. I know you've heard it during this presentation today. So we want to try to work to bridge the gap on that item a little bit more. So we are thinking about, well, not thinking about, we'd like to put together a QA/QC advisory group. This will be a minimal commitment, meaning that, it's not weekly meetings or anything. But we would like for you to, you know, if you'd like to talk with us candidly, because we need candidness, about how you think from a consultant standpoint you could help to what would help the QA/QC process between the consultant industry and FDOT, please send an email letting us know your experience and your thoughts to Catherine Bradley by May 10th. And then we'll look and we'll select some folks to be a part of that advisory group. We are looking for our next industry forum to be industry centric. So, what would you like to talk to us about, as well as the rest of the industry? So, we're asking you to send potential topics and presenters. You don't have to, just a quick summary, you don't have to send presentations or anything. To Jennifer Dorning or Siobhan Gale by June 19th, so that we can start to work with ACEC on what the next forum looks like. And honestly, please feel free to give us feedback on if you think that there's value in these forums that we're doing, or what we can do better, because in the end, we want this to work together for all of us. So that's all I have for today. If there are no other questions, I'll turn it back over to Jen and Siobhan for anything closing, anything that's coming up. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jennifer. And again, for all the districts that participated today, just as a reminder, this presentation will be put up on OEM's website, to keep a lookout for that. If you cannot find the 2023 one as well, that one will be posted on the archived documents page. So, and I think that is everything. Thank you all so much for being here today and attending our Spring 2024 OEM Industry Forum.
Thank you.